Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Jukum Cinematic Universe video. This time I want to talk about my history with fighting games, and well, competitive gaming in general, as we will see soon. Now, you probably all know me as the Pokken Tournament guy. This is my main game. I definitely love this game, still the game I play the most when it comes to competitive gaming. But there was a time where I did do something way before this. It is just crazy to think of how long it's been, because I've been playing competitively for different games since 2013. We're in 2021. I feel old even though I'm relatively young compared to other fighting game players. It's also weird because I go by a different name now instead of Thanks a Lot, when that used to be my username all the way back on Pokemon Showdown when I played VGC. And speaking of VGC, this game file, I've had this game file for my VGC stuff since 2013. I don't have the heart to delete it or continue a new game. Good thing I have White 2 instead to do that for. So I played VGC before. I went under the name Thanks a Lot. Thanks a Lot was a very old name. I'm like, oh, Pokemon puns. I literally looked it up on Google, Pokemon puns. And I was originally going to do something with Verizon Wireless. Haha, so funny. And then I would probably had even further struggles with TPCI changing my name. I don't know if people knew that I had the original name or realized, oh wait, this guy's Thanks a Lot, the 2018 World Champion? No. Yeah, we're one and the same. I don't know. It feels so awkward looking back, and I'm just like, wow, I did VGC, because with my mentality, I definitely feel like I'm more of a person who just does on-the-fly decisions. That fits perfectly for fighting games, but for when it comes to VGC, I do lots of obvious things, and I can't think turn obviously what I want to do. And as I talk more about this, let me actually bring up something, because I did win some regionals. I won 2 of them, in fact. One for Black and White 2, and my first X and Y one. Yeah, so this was my thing. This was my VGC stuff. And for those who don't know about VGC, it's only 6 Pokemon, but you use only 4 of them, which could make it pretty cool. But as you will see, I do a lot of obvious stuff, and I think I got pretty lucky with this. Talking more about VGC, it is where I met a lot of my friends that helped shape who I am today. I love them for it. I have so many different friends from all different communities, and being able to have that feeling is so crazy to me. Yeah, I play very obviously. I'm like, oh, I play Trick Room here, so I want to set up a turn. You can really tell how I play like a fighting game player, even back then. I did stop playing VGC after a bit, because I did not like the future formats where it just seemed so centralizing. My preference, I think, Black and White 2 might be my favorites for VGC, even though I barely got to do it. That and X and Y. Because even with X and Y having Mega Evolutions everywhere and common ones, it still felt like I could do a lot with a lot of different Pokemon. And I know Pokemon's all about, oh, how you set up specific Pokemon too. Wolf Glick had a very good video showcasing that. 2 Incineroar will not have the same, EVs, movesets. They can have different things. But I still like seeing a variety of different Pokemon, personally. And when it came to, when legendaries are back and Primal Groudon, Xerneas are everywhere, they're just very, 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 very hard to deal with. And they felt so centralizing. I didn't like it, but these are the good old days for me, and I'll always have this replay. And I have it recorded now, so now I'll never lose it with my dumb commentary over it. Competitive gaming means a lot to me, though, because just from seeing everyone, and these are my roots. These are literally my roots. How I got into Pokemon VGC was that my dad, randomly one day, not even for a birthday or anything, told me, hey, we're going to a Pokemon convention. We looked it up, and obviously I'm like, oh, it's a tournament. It's not like I just went there. But admittedly, I did do some weird stuff when it came to how I got my Pokemon, because I didn't know how to get perfectly IV'd Pokemon. I had this phone app. So yeah, I'm just out of myself right now. I did do a little cheatsy-weeksy. Please, I guess I don't deserve my 4th X and Y copy that they never gave me for winning this tournament, by the way. I guess I don't. For X and Y, though, I did actually do it because it was a lot easier to get IVs and stuff. Which, by the way, the second one I won with Diggerspeed. Haha, Diggerspeed, though. Anyway, it's just crazy because I did not expect to... My dad showed up. He was not expecting me to win this tournament. This is not the same tournament. This isn't a one in first tournament win stuff. But the first one I did go to, I did use Chinchino and Cloyster, so I clearly had no idea how to do VGC stuff. But a year later, I had somewhat of an idea of what to do, because I'm like, oh, Trick Room team, and I actually had Protect on my Pokemon. That said, this team I did have, which I will go in further detail, which is all about power, all about I will hit you hard and you will perish. And that's just sort of the style I've always had since my dad did bring me to my first event, because Chinchino and Cloyster just we hit you once you die. And there's nothing else to it. Trick Room has a little more nuance to it. But even for the Nationals that year, I used a Rain team, and I'm all big power. One simple decision my dad did brought me all the way here. Because even without that, I don't know if I would have even played Pokken. And it just feels insane to me. It's just looking back, I'm having nostalgia right now. This is all going on the fly. I'm just having nostalgia for all this very moment. Like my dad doing that for me. Very kind of him to have done that. I think I went like 4-2 at the first one also, so it wasn't the worst. And this is senior division too. I forgot to mention this is senior division because I was like always a youngin. 2013, I was like 12, 13. And this is the ending too, right here. This part where I wasn't sure if I would actually KO with Aqua Jet here. I remember thinking that exact thought. I remember the exact same situation where I'm like, please Aqua Jet kill. And honestly, looking back, I don't think a Bug Bite would have killed, but this Scizor throughout the entire set we had, because it was 2 out of 3 if I recall. But I was super scared of the Scizor. Like I was almost considering just doing Waterfall and be like, yeah, let me get my opponent the free turn. And like looking back, I'm like, no, that should have easily killed. But now that we've looked at that set, let me talk more about the team itself and how I like structured my mindset and how it's just actually still how I play in fighting games to this day. So this is an old report from the Pokemon website that is not up anymore. The only reason I found it was from the random person on DeviantArt who I can't even find anymore, and I saved the picture, so I found the link, went on the Wayback Machine and found it. So I want to look at my team real quick. Let's look at the senior division. Jacob W. This my Chandler. Okay, so we got obviously Trick Room team. Trick Room, Energy Ball, Heat Wave, holding a Fire Gem. Gem, you'll notice this later. Escavalier, all these strong moves. Protect, because I'm smart and I know how to use Protect. Holding Bug Gem. Remember, VGC only allows 1 item for like a duplicate item, so I can't use any of like the same life orbs like I have here. So Medicham, Train Punch, Thunder Punch, Psycho Cut, Detect with Fighting Gem, and then Azumarill holding a Water Gem. Amoonguss, this is more normal actually. A Lumberry, I had a Lumberry on it because I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to get like status and like put to sleep, so I'll use it to like absorb sleep. And then of course my Reuniclus, which I did have as like a backup Trick Room user. I think I had both of them in the set, so I could use it twice per game. I don't remember if I actually did do it twice per set, and I think I got very lucky because I had like a burn. I did get kind of lucky, admittedly, because my opponent felt like they were actually playing the game and I was just throwing my face at them and it worked out. Pretty standard Trick Room team for like, it's pretty good for a senior division, but can we talk about how they did an air right here with my famous electric grass type Azumarill? Can we please get a foreign form of this in like a future game? That would be so freaking funny. This was like a big meme like for me back in the day. It was like the first notable thing I ever did, not just winning the tournament, but also having memes of like, oh, where's my Pokemon X copy? And also, why is my Azumarill electric grass? Oh my gosh, it just brings back so many memories. And seeing this face also for the Azumarill from when I found it is also just very good. I did stop playing VGC around 2015. I think that's when they were having legendaries everywhere. And wouldn't you know, around this time of the year, like later 2014, it might have just been 2014 later in the year, this is when Pokken first was announced. And God, 2014, that's so long ago. It feels so old. I thought, wow, that's so sick. That is super sick. I want to play fighting games now. I think what the deal was for me when it came to all of this was I would only play Pokken competitively if Sceptile was announced for it. And like one day, my friend texted me about a leak that came around where Sceptile was in an arcade cabinet. I'm like, no, really, this is my history with how I start Pokken, how I start fighting games. And then wouldn't you know, later on, near my birthday, by the way, Sceptile, Jukain, gets announced for the Pokkén Tournament DX. Or sorry, not the DX yet. That's later for Empoleon, which also was announced during my birthday, like a day after. And it's insane, because this is my favorite Pokemon of all time. This is the Pokemon I grow closest towards. Wait. This is the Pokemon that I had this plush for since I was like 6 or 7. For VGC, like I of course would have loved to use Sceptile or Empoleon in VGC, but it's not really good to use them. So having a game like this where you could do it, theoretically, like obviously they have to be a good character, and Sceptile's a good character, and Empoleon's not bad himself. Being able to do that gave me the energy to want to get better. That is how like Pokken started for me and how like I kind of risen throughout the ranks, because in 2016 I did decently. I got 5th at the national event, and then later on 2017, sure, some top players started quitting a bit, but then I started showing some like possibilities of being like a high ranked player. And then 2018 obviously was when I won the world championships, and obviously all these years later I'm still pretty good at the game, I'd like to think. What helped me honestly through fighting games too was just figuring out my style. As I mentioned before with VGC, it just has me throwing my face in and deciding other tactics later. Like, I will be the first to say, I do not lab much, except for like random ideas I have. It's hard for me to remember stuff that I've labbed, unless it's a very specific thing and I've done it several times before in different sets. Because of that, usually I will learn those specific stuff mid-match, and that's how I played with Sceptile. But also what made me get better was Empoleon, because Sceptile is very ignorant with a lot of his stuff. Empoleon, not so much. He has to be a little more patient, and that's what was holding me back, was patience in fighting games. And while he was considered low tier, he helped me be more patient with waiting and knowing when to strike, especially since he does have the ignorant move in Aqua Jet and different slide tactics. So it's just finding the right time to use it. And then I developed that for my Sceptile stuff. Sure, I will still do Sceptile things where I will mash counterattack or do other silly nonsense, detect, rando Leaf Blade. But I know how to wait a bit more instead of just doing it right away. Because a lot of the time, I remember during 2016 Nationals, when I fought Suicune Master, who is like the OG top player of Pokken, I think I always got hit by, because I always relied on it when in close quarters, was just to spam my dive kick. And I can't spam my dive kick if you in this game with the counterattacks in it, because even if you don't anti-air it, you're going to just counter through and punish me for it. That was the thing I had. For Empoleon, I don't have that option because, well, he doesn't have a very good dive kick. It's a very slow one. It just was crazy how this all just like kind of led up to this opportunity for me to like get good. And obviously we're here now with my, this YouTube channel and all that. And I guess I could mention something else too, because before Pokken and during VGC a bit, I did play Smash, not competitively, but before all this came down, I did play For Glory a lot with Samus, and I tried Ultimate with Samus/Dark Samus. I think Samus, honestly, still fits with what I deem as, like, a character I would like to play as. Someone who thinks about on the fly and controlling the situation. I like slow projectiles, I like movement options. Funnily enough, a zoner like Samus has those. And in Granblue now, because now I'm playing other fighting games too besides just Pokken, there's Lancelot. And Lancelot has a slow projectile, which can also be used something like a trap, because I also like traps too. It has the best of both worlds. He has Aqua Jet too, by the way. This move right here, Aqua Jet. Wait, where is it? Where is it? There it is, Aqua Jet. Just lunging forward and being ignorant. Man, fighting games have been very good to me. 2018 was a big deal for me for Pokken. I am kind of glad, actually, the Pokémon Company kind of just kept changing my name, because I do think, admittedly, thanks a lot. It's still a good name, but I think I've definitely outgrown it. I feel more happy with Jukum. I think what makes me happy about fighting games and like the history with that is just obviously the after tournament stuff and just hanging out with people. It is cool, and being able to do other stuff too, because clearly as someone who does fighting games and other content too, when he streams it on Twitch, being able to have stuff for YouTube and having the ability to have passion for not just playing the game, but making content around the game or like other games, because I grew up watching other stuff that wasn't fighting game related, like Let's Plays, and so I'm doing like a bit of both. It's kind of how my life has been shaped up to this point. I guess for nowadays, for fighting games, I've been doing pretty good with Granblue, I'd like to think, for being a beginner. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting details about my past actually right now. This is very unorganized. But when I played Pokken Wii U, I used to just get home from school every day and play until I had to go to bed every single day with Sceptile on ranked. I kind of got to S1 through cheating, because I rage quit a lot. That was a kind rage quitter, because I only did it after the win animation, so my opponent got their points. But you know what, that's not the point. But now I don't do that nowadays. Sorry, that was the point I was trying to make. I don't do that nowadays where I play every day. When I don't have in how often I play, I think I more than make up for it in how my mindset's been nowadays, where I learn very quickly through those little sessions that I do have. It really does let me have my mind take a break, which I think is very good. I think what happens for me when I play Pokken nowadays, when it comes to tournaments, I play like 3 or 4 times before every event. Sometimes there's like 1 month between them, sometimes there's 2 of them, and then I still play really good, because it's just like I need a long mental break. And for when I'm learning a new game, like Granblue for instance right here, I know my tools because I watch stuff still, and I watch the game itself and learn, oh wait, I could have ideas while watching the stuff, and I could just test them in the middle of a match. Clearly I do play this game more than I do Pokken when it comes to consistency. I do have a lot of learnings left to do. I've been doing it very quickly, and that makes me very happy. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about, just like my journey through fighting games and like how it's just been nowadays. And well, not just, honestly, I keep saying fighting games, but obviously I did VGC. Obviously. I hope you all enjoyed the video. This is a trip down memory lane for me. I hope you learned a lot about me and how I won a tournament with a electric grass Azumarill. And I hope to see you guys next time. Cascoon hopes to see you too for another video. Ha ha ha, bye.